And to his surprise, Nana ain't dead, baby. Nana alive. And she is pissed because she sees him and she like, where the you been? What up, Search fam? Sharde here. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new, my name is Sharde. I'm out here curating and co-creating a cool ass life. And it's time for a book review. Now, whether this is your first time coming across me on the internet or you keep coming back and you have not joined my internet family yet, well, what are we waiting for, friends? Y'all know y'all like it over here. I'm real chill or whatever. Anyway, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and be made aware of every time I post, which is usually on the weekends. Okay, y'all, so I just finished this book a couple of days ago, and that's Vampires El Norte by Isabel Cañas. And I can tell you now that you need to pick it up because it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Oh my gosh, I enjoyed reading it so much. Now, I got this on a recommendation because I be on BookTube, you know, I be watching other YouTubers that talk about books. And this was one of the recommendations that I saw that I was like, ooh, that actually sounds good. Now, we know that sometimes I have a problem with period books, especially when they deal with colonialism or enslavement, right? But this novel is set in the 1840s as the Americans are taking over parts of Mexico. But it is about these two young people, Nestor and Magdalena, who goes by Nina, who live in her ranchero, and Nina's family, they're the rancheros, they own the property and all this. Her dad is the Don. And so they grow up together because Nina's the oldest daughter, but Nestor is a vaquero, or the child of a vaquero that lives on the ranchero. And the vaqueros break the bulls and the horses and all of those things, right? And so when they as I said, they grow up together, they're like this, like with plans in their 14-year-old brains that they're gonna get married one day. And Nestor's like, I'm going to, you know, build my own little rancherito and you're gonna be my wife. And then it's like, yes. It's so cute. However, when they're out looking for a dead, I think it was like a dead rancheros or conquistadors silver off of a myth, because Abuela, who is Nestor's abuela, but also is like abuela to all the kids, tells them all these tall tales. And so they go out in the middle of the night to try to find this because Nestor thought he saw one, saw like a flash, and they get attacked. They get attacked by a creature, and Nina gets scratched really bad on her neck area, and Nestor carries her back to the home. And of course they are very classist, right? Her family's very classist, and he thinks it's his fault that she got attacked and that she's dead or whatever. And he runs away from the ranchero and becomes a vaquero, just like itinerant, taking up odd jobs or whatever. He becomes very good and like makes his own thing. But he thinks that Nina is dead. Nina is not dead. She actually ends up with what they call susto, which her abuela is able to call her spirit back into her body as a curandera, or a healer. And so Nina learns how to become a healer. She has this large scar that her mother is like, you have to cover up so we can get you married off, and da-da-da-da. She don't want to get married. She don't want to get married now because she's heartbroken because she thinks Nestor abandoned her. And secondly, she loves the ranchero. So she wants to stay on the ranchero as a curandera because Abuela is getting old, yo. And she's like, one day Abuela not going to be here. So who's going to heal the people? So that should be my job. But the Yankees, the white people, they are coming and taking over parts of land because they now are moving westward. This is like westward expansion, and around the time of like the Alamo and the I think the Spanish American War and all of this stuff. And so they're moving into El Norte, down by Rio Bravo, taking over, you know, New Mexico, Texas area, all of that. And so there are still these creatures that they don't know what it is. They call them vampires. And they're like actual creatures, not human and not even humanoid really, but they do walk on two legs. And come to find out, the Yankees are capturing these vampires, chaining them, riling them up, letting them loose on these rancheros so that they could come take them over. Anyway, because of the invasion, the rancheros, a number of the rancheros, the Dons, are getting together to form a militia because the Mexican government is not sending aid for this. They're just kind of letting it happen. And so Nestor gets called back to the ranchero to help because his uncle is still there, and they're gonna send his uncle out. So he's like, no, you gotta come. They like, you gotta come back so you can go instead of your uncle, because he'll come out there and get killed because he shouldn't have to do all this. And so he does, and he come back. Like, he's like, I'm gonna come back, but he's like not feeling it because Nana's dead, and he's longing for her. He's jumping from bed to bed and taking jobs to outrun the ghost of his ex-love, his dead lover. And so he goes back to the ranchero, and to his surprise, Nana ain't dead, baby. Nana alive. And she is pissed because she sees him and she like, where you been? So this happens. Nana talks her dad into letting her go on with the militia and the rancheros to war, essentially, as the curandera, because she's like, you need them and I can do it. And Abuela couldn't go because she old. And so the dad, who is very like straight-laced, don't listen to nobody, he goes, fine, but when you come back, I don't want to hear nothing about you getting married. We done already picked out the ranchero's son that you gonna marry that's got the right pedigree. And so when they go out to war, Nana's brother Felix, who's the next Don, so he got to go too. He learning the ropes and all the things, so, you know. But he's very sweet and like sort of helps speak on her behalf because the parents will listen to him. So anyway, he has Nestor Casimiro, who is Nestor's cousin, and Beto, who's one of Nestor's friends that he's met through his vaquero work, and who decides to come back with him, and he was going to go farther because his people are down farther south. And so they all have to take turns guarding Nana, and like, child, this goes awry because Nana's not having it. She don't want to talk to Nestor, trying to talk to her. She don't want to talk to him, and rightfully so, because she thinks that he abandoned her. And so she won't even hear out his explanation because she's so hurt behind it. But Abuela has said, you can't do the work of a curandera the way you need to because something's blocking your spirit. You got to figure out what it is, and you got to work through that. And then it's like, I don't have to do all that. I just force of will. You know what I'm saying? And so they end up getting pushed back and attacked really badly by the American soldiers because they got a whole army coming. And Nestor and Nana end up on the run. And so they're trying to get back to Los Ojuelos, which is the Nana's family's ranchero. And on the way, you know, there's a lot of things that happen. They get tracked by these vampires, and like they're on the run from the Yankees and all of the things. And also they start to slowly come back together because they have a rhythm, and the rhythm is still in place even though they ain't seen each other in 9 years. They got on my nerves with the communication, but again, they like 22 at the time, so I get it. And anger makes you do some strange things and not listen. But it just, when I heard that it was just beautiful romance, like not even romance, but like love and longing, and I love some pining. Okay? But I'm gonna read you a little passage out of here because it is just gorgeously written, although it's not very spicy. Like the sex scenes are kind of like fade black kind of situation, which is fine because it's the pining for me, okay? And I'm gonna read it to you. So, and this is like near the end, and it's not gonna spoil anything. But here we go. He knew exactly what he wanted. He meant to marry her, to build a house for her and make a home with her, to fall asleep smelling wildflower soap in her hair every night for the rest of his life. Whatever Don Feliciano and Doña Mercedes thought be damned. But if he said so much out loud, even at a time like yesterday when she kissed him with a need he thought was only possible in his filthiest dreams, it would have stopped her in her tracks. It might have shattered everything they had built so carefully between them. Not if he's the right one, she had whispered last night, nose to nose, their breath mingling. In another place, they would have spelled the end of this dance. If they had been alone, if they hadn't been in the midst of a dozen strangers who would have confessed everything. He would have confessed everything, every coin he had saved and what he meant to do with them. How ever since he had returned to Los Huelos and discovered her alive, he spent each night staring at the stars, choosing which words to ask her to marry him, praying she might one day listen. I can't do WYD texts because this exists. Okay? Longing. Anyway, this was a fantastic read, and I had so much fun. I enjoyed it. I read it quite quickly, honestly, because I was just so enthralled. And so if I was going to give it a rating, it's a must pick up. You must pick it up. It was absolutely gorgeous. I'm really kind of interested in what the audiobook would be like because I feel like this would be beautiful as an audiobook as well. But anyway, let me know. Have you read it? You gonna read it? Talk to me. As always, friends, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend about the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.